Hello everyone, this is Father the Everchosen, back in the last quick battle for the vampire counts. So let's jump in. So hopefully some of you found the battle I fought earlier today interesting, and hopefully you found what I had to say either interesting, enlightening, or just maybe something good to start discussing and start thinking about. But we're going to focus on this last battle here. Looks like we're going to be going up against the Empire. I think we're just going to try to go with what we had early success with. The tried and true, low tier skeleton warriors, some skeletal spears, Stearnsman, the necromancer on his corpse cart. We'll grab the scroll of shielding, and I think we're going to end up grabbing... Let's grab the... Let's grab Vlad. We'll grab Vlad, we'll leave him with invocation, and we'll take both of his special items. And with Vlad, actually not with Vlad, we're going to bring, this will be probably the newest thing we'll bring. We'll bring the Vampire of Shadows, we'll put her up on the Hellsteed. We'll take off Dark Benediction. We'll leave her with Malkoth's Mystifying Miasma, the Penumbral Pendulum, and we'll leave her with Pit of Shades. Hopefully, they'll bring just state troops, and I'll be able to use that Pit of Shades at some point. Actually, we'll drop her onto a Barded Nightmare so we can maybe hide her in the woods. There are no woods really to hide her in. But it will save, 200. So, on top of that, we're going to grab the Dire Pack, another Dire Wolf, actually, one Vargeist, two basic Black Knights, and I think we'll just grab another Dire Wolf. So the thought process for this, actually wait, 64, really? Okay, so just grab those. So the thought process will be, hold with the Skeleton Warriors and the Stearnsmen. Make sure the Skeleton Spearmen are guarding the flank, just for cavalry's sake. The Necromancer will be keeping everybody alive from the back ranks. Vlad will be in the front fighting. The Vampire Shadows will go with the Black Knights. The Dire Wolves and the Dire Pack are there for Pistoliers or Archers, or any range, and then the Vargeists are there as well, also to use just as that nice rear charge. Hopefully we will succeed at this. The biggest risks that this army faces, and the Empire has, all the tools, but a light wizard with the Net of Amontok and a whole bunch of archers, definitely going to be an issue. If they went small and elite, which the Empire doesn't typically do, but if they went great swords, halberds, so it looks like they went state troops. If you look at the balance of power up here at the top, it looks like I'm just eking over the line. I've got more troops than them. So it tells me that they've got probably just basic archers. And maybe even Free Company militia, which Free Company militia actually do quite well against the vampires. You know, the ranged aspect, and then they're not the worst in a combat situation. We're starting off with really low winds of magic, which is unfortunate. Let's see. Looks like the dire pack can be hidden in that small patch of shrubbery. And actually I can get these guys to deploy directly behind my enemy. Rinse the bell. So they're going to be off to this side. They've got Flagellants, a Bright Wizard, General of the Empire, and a bunch of Hellstorm rocket batteries. When I say a bunch, I mean 4. 3 and the Sunmaker. And that's going to be devastating. For some reason, they've got Free Company militia all the way out here already.
At once! Swiftly!
I don't know why you would Vanguard deploy them. But they don't have any archers. So I should be, and this is a lot of friendly fire. I'm assuming that this is a heavily meme-inspired army, which I kind of wish it wasn't, since this is going to be the last battle. But I can't really...
Your desire?
I mean, there's nothing I can really do about it. It's unfortunate, but perhaps there are some minor lessons we can pick up on from this. Let's pull them back. And that vampire will make mincemeat out of that Bright Wizard. Just try to keep this cavalry alive. Alright. Vlad in here. Move back, hopefully. Alright. The vampire ends up being able to take that out, which isn't surprising. Send a nice phenomenal pendulum across there. Devastating, as I would have expected it to be. We'll keep them on the General of the Empire, because why not?
Your time!
Like I said, I mean, the Sunmaker is a great piece of artillery, and the Hellstorm rocket batteries are great, but you know, he's hitting his own men, so it's not great. You know, his men are not suited to be taking that form of a beating. Oh, I want that Bright Wizard gone. So we'll keep him committed. And we'll start moving Vlad around a little more. Summon some skeletal warriors here. Get them in the back of these Flagellants. And obviously, you know, these Free Company militia could have been shooting at the Bargeists. Like I said, wish it wouldn't have been such a meme army to end on, but you know, I think I will just probably have another little discussion here at the end.
All shall suffer.
But we'll watch Vlad fight here for a little. I don't think I can blow this lead, especially with them still killing their own troops.
awake, minions! Yes! Yes!
Alrighty. Let's commit to taking everything out. Look at the General of the Empire in here. And it's just the flagellants that are left, since they're unbreakable.
All shall perish.
Vampire!
Oh. Let's drop a nice pin of shades here.
We are immortal!
Just because I want to. Just to see just the beauty of the game, the spell.
It is time.
And at this point, we'll back out here. Now, not much to say. Like I said, you know, this is not the army you're gonna see in high tier play. You're not gonna see Flaxland Soothsayer bring this army. You're not. But you know, this army could have been devastating if they wouldn't have committed their troops, because my troops are slow. They could have been just peppering them the whole way up. And then, yeah, you know, they might have lost their effectiveness once they engaged in combat. But you could have protected them. I mean, their line could have stretched farther than mine. And as long as they protected the artillery from my cavalry and air force, you know, once the flagellants got low enough, you know, you could have kept the spears in the back with the Free Company protecting the Hailstorm Rocket Battery and the Sunmaker. Could have had the General of the Empire up there, keeping, you know, just fighting with the flagellants. After peppering all my units so thoroughly on the approach, you know, obviously they would have had a hard time with Vlad and the Vampire, but, you know, they could have put up a better showing. But I think this army, you know, like I said, I just picked it apart. You know, if I was playing the Empire and I had to choose this army, that's what I would have done. I would have just peppered, you know, them. Setting up in the corner probably would have been what I would have chosen as well. But, you know, I don't have anything else to say about that. But, nope, I don't want to quit the game. We'll go back into here and we'll open up the custom battle yet again and just take a little look. So obviously throughout, you know, these 7 battles, I never took the Master Necromancer, Helman Gorst, Kemmler, the Strigoi Ghoul King. I didn't take Isabella. I didn't take Manfred. And I don't think I took the Red Duke either. I think I took... And I didn't take the regular Man Prelate. I took the Necrarch, the Von Karstein, the Lamian, Vlad, the Blood Dragon, and the Strigoi. And I took Vlad twice. So that's all 7. You know, breaking it down, Vlad is probably the Lord personally that I would take unless I was going up against an Elven faction. Then I would probably just bring the Von Karstein Lord for the Storm of Night. Against dragons, it's almost necessary since you don't have a great answer to large creatures. You don't have any ranged, you know, and you can only commit so much to an air force. You know, you slap a 2,000 point Terrorgeist in there and you compare it to, let's trash this, the 2,000 point Moondragon. The Moondragon has a tiny bit less health. You know, a 4th less in armor. It's got 35 more leadership, which is huge. It's a little bit slower. but its melee attack is fire, which is obviously going to be really good because the Terrorgeist has regeneration. Let's pop back down here real quick. Melee defense is better. Weapon strength is massively better, and its charge bonus is better. It's got, you know, and it's got missile resistance. Anyway, obviously you don't have the missiles, but and the Moon Dragon's breath is a fantastic breath weapon, you know. So you're gonna need a Terrorgeist and a Lord on a dragon to take out the Moon Dragon, unless you slap, you know, the Von Karstein Storm of Night on it. Let alone if you spring for, you know, 400 points more, or you spring for the Star Dragon. The Star Dragon is just astronomically better in every aspect. And the Terrorgeist is an anti-large creature. It does not go toe-to-toe, and nor should it. But, you know, a Terrorgeist with a few Vargeists, that's a huge point. You know, two Vargeists and a Terrorgeist versus, you know, a Star or a Moon Dragon. Here, we'll, nope. Prince. Let's look at this real quick. Hopefully it keeps me as the vampire counts and not puts me as the high elves. But while we're looking at this, you know, you're going to have to definitely know, you know, there are just armies that you're not going to succeed very well against, you know, unless you're a great player. You know, skill, there is a level where skill takes over, but if it's two players of equal skill, there are certain factions that the vampires just aren't skilled against. You know, the massive amounts of range from the high elves is definitely an issue. You know, the Lothering Sea Guard are one of the best units in the game. You know, not only being able to defend themselves, but being able to, you know, defend themselves in melee, but being able to pepper you. So we're gonna send everything in, and we'll fast forward it. So that single breath attack screwed him up something fierce. So we'll keep this going. Let's see. Let's keep it going on the hook. So in the end, it took 2 Storm of Knights, and it cost me half a unit of Vargeist, another half a unit of Vargeist, and, you know, this one's at about 1/5 of its health. This other one, you know, is about maybe 1/3. And the Terrorgeist regenerated, you know, 514 of its hit points, and it's down, you know, about 2,500, and that killed the Star Dragon. But during that whole time, you know, we're gonna concede defeat, and we're going to do a rematch real quick, and we're not going to use the Von Karstein Lord at all. We're just going to have the Terrorgeist and the 2 Vargeists go up. So this is a 2,400 point unit versus 4,000 points. So we'll just fast forward it. So starting at minute 60, and we'll see when they clash. So they clash at, let's say, 25. So 59-25. And you'll see why in just a second. But in the last one, you know, you had to have the Von Karstein Lord supporting. And in this one, you're not having him support at all. Now, Star Dragon is actually getting pretty beat up. He might actually do even better this time. Which, you know, he's not using standard ground or anything, keeping him in the fight. So this time, you know, the Star Dragon didn't do as good. You know, didn't kill as many unit models, and didn't hit the Terrorgeist. But it still took about, what? I would say probably about 2 minutes of consistent fighting. So that's the Star Dragon not moving. That's the Star Dragon not getting healed. That's your units not getting peppered with arrows. And this is, you know, 4,000 points. And, you know, the last one, doing even worse, actually. I also had to commit my Lord to the fight. So, you know, the vampires just don't have, you know, what it takes in certain aspects, you know. I just, you know, like I said, Vlad, best Lord to take in most situations, I think. And then, you know, the Von Karstein Lord in certain situations. The Red Duke, obviously, you know, with El Sif, it's a really good ability. Manfred has his uses at times. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, slapping him up on a zombie dragon, you know, honor or death, and heart piercing, and, you know, slapping him with spells, and then giving him the Helm of Discord and the Sword of Anti-Heroes if you wanted to, you know, just fully kit him out. And, you know, so 3318. You know, we'll compare that with Vlad. You know, Vlad's sitting at 2162. You know, but they definitely all have their uses. I never found a use for the Lamian Lord. I played, you know, typically the battles that you guys see are the battles that I play, because I want you guys to see the progression. But I actually played, I think, 3 matches back to back with the Lamian Lord. After looking at Craig C's comment on, I think, three or 4 videos ago, that they really liked the synergy between lightning reflexes, increasing your own speed, and then decreasing the speed of enemies around you with seduction. I found that, you know, the Lamian Lord, I ended up just putting her on a Hellsteed, and she caught, you know, some Pistoliers and, you know, stuff like that, but I never, you know, I wouldn't, you know, to put her up in the sky against, you know, let's say Karl Franz, you know, you're gonna need, you know, here, we'll even look at it real quick, and then that'll probably be where I pretty much end it. Karl, we're not gonna give him any abilities. We're gonna give him, yeah, no, we'll give him nothing. Just Deathclaw up in the air. And we'll switch back to me. And we'll take the Lamian Vampire Lord on a Hellsteed with a Terrorgeist. And we'll just put a unit of zombies on the ground. And we'll put a unit of spears on the ground for him. You know, earlier I had a match that I was playing with Manfred. That was one of the other ones I had played off, and it was, you know, Manfred
Vampire
and a Terrorgeist up against Karl Franz, and there was no chance.
swiftly.
You know, now obviously Karl's always going to be supported by other units. You know, you slap in one ranged unit it can be devastating.
Swiftly.
You know, slap in the silver bullets.
What?
Devastating. Absolutely devastating. Because it passes through the physical resistance.
Death to the living!
So we'll give her the speed boost.
We are
We'll drop them
immortal.
down. Come on, get in there. Let's hit him with a breath attack. And we'll commit. And let's fast forward it. So, you know, obviously, he's winning. Which I knew he would win out. Okay, so we pause. That's fine. Half health, regenerated through almost 300. And, you know, regenerated about 300. And just above half health. For, you know, probably 2.5 minutes of sustained combat. But again, you slap in a life wizard. You slap in this, that. Obviously, she's got invocation. I feel like the vampire counts have a few very bad matches. I feel like the Empire's a very bad match for them. I feel like the High Elves are a very bad match for them. You know, the Dark Elves can be. You know, anything with a lot of ranged options can really, really hurt the vampire counts. And that's why the biggest thing that I think Creative Assembly needs to address is the damage, the accuracy, and the effectiveness of ranged units. And personally, I think that one of the biggest things that they should be doing is, and you'll see it in my Von Karstein campaign if you've been watching it, if you look at the basic Empire Archer, they come with 20 missiles. 20 times 90. So that's, you know, that's 1,800 missiles. That's an astronomical amount of missiles. You know, weak against armor, doesn't matter. 21 damage, 2 of which is armor piercing. Reload time is 9 seconds. You know, 9 seconds is not great. You know, you look at the Free Company Militia. They've got 18 ammunition, 8.1 reload. You know, you look at here. We'll just slap in every unit. And we'll go through. So 18 missiles, 22 missiles, 20 missiles, and they've got stalk and sniping. 22 missiles, 22 again, 18, 22, 22, and these are all, with the exception of the Free Company Militia, 90 units. You know, the Free Company Militia is 120. You know, 120 at 18 is probably comparable. I'm not going to do the math right this moment. But this is just, you know, astronomical amount of missiles that is flying out of these units. Especially, you know, the White Wolves, fine. They're a 900 point cost unit, but they're 900 points for anti-large, stalk, vanguard deployment. They can fire while moving. I think it's just a forward range of motion though for the White Wolves. But 22 at 160, you know, you put one White Wolf down, and you can really pepper some of these big monsters. And what doesn't make sense to me, you know, Pistoliers, they've got 12 shots. Not that I think Pistoliers should have more ammunition, but if you look at historically, cavalry can carry more because they're not carrying it on their person. They've got saddlebags and whatnot. You know, not that I want Pistoliers with, you know, 25 ammunition. That would be I mean, they'd be an auto pick. Not that they're, they're almost an auto pick now. But, Outriders, if you can't catch regular Outriders, those 20 missiles at 130, they will devastate your armies. You look at the High Elves. We'll trash this real quick. Grab everybody. So you got 24. You've got 24, 22, 22, 20, 22, 22, 20, 22. And they're just about all, save for the Lothern Sea Guard at 180. The Lothern Sea Guard are at 165 range. And they've all got 90 or 80 men. They need to lower they need to either lower the missile and keep them just as laser accurate and and their damage the same, or they need to make them a little less accurate. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels like sometimes when you're trying to dodge even arrows, which have a preset coordination at 180 at the max range, you're moving your Terrorgeist off to the right, and those arrows just like drift into it. So, I think lowering the amount of ammunition, and maybe to counter that, obviously the High Elves are probably not the best to look at, but maybe bump up some of their melee stats then. Obviously not Bretonnian peasants. Like Bretonnian peasants have 22, but they're garbage in, and they should probably be garbage in melee. But for the Empire, you look at the Huntsmen. These are people who are, with Marcus Wolfhard. These guys are going around the Empire. And they're killing beastmen. They're killing large threats. Once they would engage in melee, 16 and 17. Ungors are loving, numbers like that in melee. So maybe bump up the melee attack, melee defense, and maybe keep the weapon strength low, but, lower the number of missiles so that you can commit your archers as supporting forces. Not that you can't do it already, but you really, you don't want to throw these to Huntsmen. And they're 650. They're great units, but they, in the von Karstein campaign, you'll see that, they bring just a slew of archers and crossbowmen. And archers even say weak against armor. And they're going up against, Vlad. He's got 90 armor. Yeah, he doesn't have a shield, but he's got, the basic missile resistance at 15%. They just destroy him, And their missile damage is 21, but 90 units firing arrows is 90 every time, 90 every 9 seconds. So, I don't know. I think that needs to be addressed the biggest. I think lowering ammunition and maybe bumping up melee attack and melee defense stats for ranged units. I think it will balance things where you can bring back, factions like the Vampire Counts. Obviously the Vampire Coast has all these ranged units. Another thing, lore-wise, there are humans that live in Sylvania. They work for Vlad. Obviously it's not like, oh, hey, I really, like your policies. It's like, I don't want to be food, so I'm going to go and be state troops for you. So maybe the Vampire Count should have access to the basic tier state troops. Spearmen with shields, swordsmen, free company, archers, and maybe even all the way up to crossbowmen and handgunners. I believe And I believe, and I have the 8th edition army book over there, but I believe that there are like human halberdiers that are like the personal bodyguards of either Vlad or of Castle Drakenhof. I can't be 100% certain, and you know, my army book's not right next to me, but I feel like, you know, you just gotta, these minor tweaks will help factions that are already established in the game and factions that are coming into the game. You know, like I said, with the Ogre Kingdoms, you know, they're not gonna have large unit count units. They're gonna have maybe 20 to 24 guys per unit. You know, big ogre bruisers and you know, iron guts. They're gonna be able to be shot while in sustained combat. They're gonna suffer anti-large penalties. You know, it's why Minotaurs aren't. You look at the Minotaur, and it's got some semi-decent stats, but it's got bad armor. Even if you slap a shield on it, it's a silver shield, but that don't mean anything to the archers. They, you know, focus fire it down. Here, I'm going to do, I think, one more thing. and this will be the end, I swear. And we'll go with the Empire. Put him on a horse. So what, 1250, and we've got 7. So here, we'll take 3 basic archer units. We'll take a general of the Empire, and we'll see how much damage that these 3 archer units, which cost less by 200 points than these Minotaurs, let's see how much damage they can actually do.
Victory will be ours!
Taking aim!
For the Empire!
Let's move him right here to the center. Obviously, he's giving them small buffs, but you know, nothing that really, you know, it's the nothing that's gonna. They just gotta hold.
Weapons at the ready! No lingering!
We're gonna fast forward. Should have turned them off. See defeat. Rematch. Just really quickly. Or another thing would be, you know, maybe the leadership of all archer units needs to just, you know, tank. Because, you know, 50 leadership isn't great. Don't get me wrong. But when, you know, obviously dwarven units can keep their high leadership and stuff. Okay, so we'll even keep them in sustained combat. So we'll just leave it right there. So that was 17, and what? They start with 20, I think we said. And this general of the Empire, I would say, has done negligible damage. They're, you know, here. We'll see. So we got... Okay. Not even 2 minutes into the battle, which a lot of it was running them up. This archer unit, you know, isn't firing anymore. These guys have each fired 2 more volleys, and they've decimated these Minotaurs. They've got 45 armor, which isn't great, but they've got the silver shields. So this unit has a shield that will block 55% of all small arms missile fire hitting them from the front. Obviously, They're getting shot from the back. They're getting shot from the sides at times. But they're just, I mean, they just are getting devastated. You know, yeah, they took the general of the Empire down, but, okay, now all you got to do is have, you know, a Wizard Lord of Life, and, you know, that's all she wrote. Defeat and battle. You know, it just doesn't take expensive units. Yeah, they got 20. So, you know, it took 5, 5, and 3. So 13 times 90 is, you know, what? 1,107, I think. Yeah. I think it's 1,170 arrows. You know. And that's a lot of arrows. Don't get me wrong. But they still had, you know, 15, 15, and 17. That's another 47. 47 times 90. You know, they barely used anything. They could still, in theory, you know, if we're going with 13 divided by 50 is what? You would have 13, 26, 39, 52 would be 4. So just shy of 4 units of shielded Minotaurs. If all the conditions were right, you know, so we'll slap 4 units of Minotaurs. This could take out this. It's maybe not the Beast Lord, but I mean that's what I'm talking about with you know, if you had a proper front line that was guarding, you'd be able to take out 4 Minotaurs with 3 plain Jane archers that were just zeroing in on them. And that just doesn't seem right to me, you know. So either lower their leadership so that when they get charged, it's terrible and they rout instantly, you know, especially with a rear charge. You know, you take, even with a unit that maybe doesn't cause fear or terror, but definitely with the unit that causes fear or terror, charging into the back of, you know, silver bullets at 60 leadership, you know, save for things like the dwarves, or you lower the missile number and bump up their melee attack and melee defense, or you keep them as accurate as they are. So either you keep them as accurate and lower the ammunition and bump up their stats, or you lower their leadership and make charging them just devastating. You know, a cavalry charge to the rear of these archers probably would break them. But they're going to come back, and then they're going to break again, and then they're going to come back, and then they're going to break again, and then they're done. After that third breaking, they'll shatter. They will shatter. So, I don't know. I guess those are some of my concerns going forward, and I feel like the vampire counts were the best place to start, you know, some of these conversations. Some of you guys have been watching for a while, and it just, you know, gets the ball rolling. Like I said in the earlier video, keeping the discussion going. You know, spread this wherever you want. You know, you get somebody else to notice it, maybe they'll comment on it, and you know, CA does seem to look at what the community wants and really try to build things that we like. And they do try to listen. And I think that maybe they would see, you know, 20 ammunition. I'm not saying drop them down to 5, but, you know, realistically, could an archer carry 20 arrows? Of course. But also, realistically, shield lock swordsman could, you know, take arrows all day. You know, to a point. or I guess that, or give us back formations for shielded units, and give us back shield wall, or you know, shield trom for spear units. I doubt they're going to give us that. And there's, you know, halberdiers, you know, give us a pike formation for them. So, you know, really charging them head on with cavalry would just be the dumbest thing you could ever do. But I would say the highest likelihood would be maybe to drop the ammunition. Drop it by 5. You know, start there. Don't hit it with a Nerf stick and go, okay, everybody's got 10 ammunition. But, you know, drop that to 15. Might be a little more manageable. But those are my thoughts. And this will conclude the quick battles of the vampire counts. And starting next week, I don't know. Let's look through here, and I don't know if you guys have an idea. Shoot me a comment, and maybe I'll listen and play around. If you like the idea of me playing, I don't know, maybe the Tomb Kings, maybe Bretonnia, I'm feeling one of those. If nobody says anything, it'll be probably between Bretonnia or Tomb Kings. But if you enjoyed the content that I put out today, please leave a like. Please comment on this or the earlier video. Getting the conversation rolling will definitely be good. And tell me what you think of the idea of, you know, tweaking ranged combat. And from now on, we may do individual videos that are more, I don't want to say ranty, but more unit breakdown videos, or problems that I see either currently or coming in the future. But if you do enjoy the content that I'm putting out here, subscribing is the best way to show how. The more people here, the more likelihood of, you know, getting noticed by more people. The more people notice, the better the conversations get, and the more chance that we could impact something. But thank you guys so much for joining me for the week of the Vampire Counts. I have been Father the Ever-Chosen.